Welcome to the Impactful Entrepreneur Show with Adrienne Hill, a place for online business industry expertise and thought leadership, where you can build the skills, structure, and systems you need to thrive in business and have a lasting impact in your industry. Let's do this. Today, I am here with Leah Rae and Todd Getz, and they are the owners of digitaltrailblazer.com. They specialize in helping experts, coaches, and consultants and entrepreneurs like you to create, launch, and sell and scale profitable online courses and coaching programs. They're award-winning marketers and sought-after speakers, having been recognized for their success in the industry by multiple organizations and featured on stage, in podcasts, as well as in other interviews and articles. They started their online business with no experience, zero. Leah was a previous nurse. Todd was a band teacher. But despite their lack of experience, they took action, they learned from their failures, and eventually developed a system that anyone can use to create a profitable online course or coaching business. And we are so blessed to have them here with us today. If they started from zero and can get to where they are, you guys can absolutely do it too. They're here to talk to us about the power of launching and scaling a coaching business or online course. So welcome, Todd and Leah.
Welcome. Yay. We're so happy to be here. Great to have us, Adrienne. We always love participating in your summits. You have the best audience.
Awesome. And I know they're going to love what you guys are here to talk to us about today. So really quick, before we jump into all the good stuff about coaching and course creation, do you want to tell us just a little bit about your story and how you found yourself kind of becoming experts in this space and building out this amazing program you have?
Okay. So we started online, I think in 2016. And it was really, we were just looking for a way to create income from home. Like we wanted to get him out of his job. We'd waited a very long time for children. Children were here. He was traveling for work, and it was just not a perfect situation. So we were looking for options, and we ended up really learning about internet marketing and learning about lead generation and sort of the core principles through affiliate marketing. And that's where things started to take off for us. We had actually a lot of success with affiliate marketing. We were able to, I think it was 18 months after starting, we were able to retire Todd from his six-figure job, being able to be full-time. So now our second son has never experienced, parents working outside of the home. So that's really cool. So that was our main goal getting started. And we worked really hard. We didn't come from a marketing background. So we had a lot to learn, but we made it happen and we hustled it out. And through that process, we sort of created some systems and figured stuff out that led to us creating our own courses, because we had a lot of people who weren't just interested in the affiliate stuff that we had to offer, but wanted to learn, well, how are we actually generating traffic? How are we generating leads and some of the free sort of system stuff that we were doing? And so that led us to create courses. And that's where things really changed in our business and exploded. And we really found our expertise and what we really enjoy doing, because we've seen, people from all walks of life who have expertise in fitness and in relationships and finances and all kinds of cool stuff. Like they can do such amazing things when they get the marketing pieces in place to get their message out there and to close those sales, and they can make such a huge impact. So, if for us being able to switch into courses and coaching for our business is where it took off. I mean, that's where we had our very first seven-figure year, and it just grew very, very quickly for us. And we've been able to now replicate that. We've had a lot of success with our clients, helping them put the systems in place, put some really great marketing, some messaging, getting traffic, closing sales, so that, there's so many coaches, I think, out there who have great expertise and have great ability to help people, but they're just not making sales because they're not marketers. They don't have that background. And so I love being able to help those people who can make a positive impact, reach more people, and actually make that impact because they're closing sales and getting people into the program.
Yeah. What I love about your guys' story is that you didn't have the skills in the beginning. You built them from the ground up. And then once you had the right strategies in place that you knew were working, you systematized them, right? And in systematizing them, that's what allowed you to scale. But also in systematizing them, that's what allowed you guys to put them into a course that you now teach to other people. So it all comes back to the strategies and the systems every single time.
Yes.
Which I love. So I know a lot of people who are probably watching this, they either have a dream in their heart, right? And they know they have some sort of zone of genius hiding up here that they're trying to figure out how to unlock it, how to get it in front of the right people. But I also know there's some members of the audience who they know that they want to be entrepreneurs. They're driven to start a business of their own. They're not 100% sure what their zone of genius is. Or they want to create a course, but they're not sure if people are going to be interested in the topic area. So one of my first questions I would love to dig in with is, I know you guys work with a wide range of clients who teach all kinds of different things. Can you give us a sampling of what some of your clients teach in their courses or their coaching, just to give people a flavor for the wide range of things that you could create a course or a program for?
We got people teaching how to write screenplays for films, people doing horse training, educational grant writing. Obviously, there's things like real estate and business, and make money online. There's a lot of that stuff too. I'm trying to think of some of the more creative ones. Tennis, fitness, right? Creating a fitness program out of tennis for couples. Yeah, there's a lot of neat things that people are doing that,
a lot of wellness, whether that's fitness and weight loss or mental health or trauma, or there's a lot. It's super varied.
Yeah. So I just think that's so encouraging. I love that you shared a little sneak preview of that, because for those of you watching, and I'm talking to you right now, there's probably something something you learned or experienced that other people would love to know how to do, right? And you just have to find a way to share it with them. And it may seem like something that's not a big deal to you, but it might be like earth-shattering to someone else, right? Or it might be exactly what they've been looking for. So thank you for sharing that sampling of examples of businesses with us. So that's great. So for the people who are looking for the right strategies so they can systematize their business, how do you advise people on which direction to gravitate towards between creating an online course or creating a coaching program? Do you have like certain parameters you look for to figure out how to guide people, like which strategy is best for them?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that come into play. Your niche, the subject matter, who your audience is. More and more though, what we have to look at is your source of traffic. Like that's the number one determining factor that's going to determine whether you can do something cheap and affordable versus do we have to raise the price so that we can afford paid traffic. Okay. Unless you have a massive source of free organic traffic online. And I'm talking like a YouTube channel with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of subscribers, a podcast that is getting, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of downloads, a website that's getting hundreds or thousands of visitors every single day. And you're renewing that traffic, right? You're getting more subscribers, more listeners every single day. If you've got that, then sure, you can create something cheap, affordable, low ticket, maybe it's $50, $100, maybe a couple $100. And you can create a course, you can market it to your audience, and you're going to make sales, right? And actually, you can be pretty bad at marketing and still make sales.
Right. If you have large enough organic traffic.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're already in love with you. They already know you, and you
don't have to pay to reach them.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if you're a normal person, like 99.99% of people, and like we had to start out with, you don't have that. And so in order to get traffic, in order to get people to even, see you or learn about you or learn about what it is that you have to offer, you have to pay for that traffic. Okay. And that's really the name of the game, is your traffic. It doesn't matter how great of a program that you have, it's not going to sell itself. Okay. You have to generate the traffic. You have to create the marketing materials. The analogy that we often use is having a McDonald's franchise, right? If you have a McDonald's franchise, how much money do you think you're going to make? Okay. Well, unless you know the location of that franchise, you're not going to have an answer. If you put it in the middle of Times Square, New York, where, prior to all the lockdowns, there was 300,000 plus visitors per day, then yeah, your McDonald's franchise is going to be great. It's going to be profitable. If, however, you put it in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere where there's no access roads or anything, it doesn't matter how great the product is. Right. You're not going to, and I'm not saying McDonald's burgers are great, but you're not going to have a business. Nobody's going to buy a burger from that, right? And in fact, Ray Kroc, who's one of the people who made McDonald's what it is, he said that, we're not in the burger business. We're in the real estate business. It's all about location, right? We have, the reason why we're successful is because we have the best locations, because the best locations have the best traffic. And on the internet, with an internet business, it's the same thing. Yeah. If you have a great location, right? If you've got a huge podcast, if you got a huge YouTube channel, if you've got this audience that you can get in front of for free, then sure, you've got a great location. You could put out a McDonald's with crappy burgers and you're going to make sales. But if you don't have that, you have to learn how to generate it yourself. And that's going to be mostly with paid ads. Now, when you're doing paid ads, now we have this cost that we have to consider of, is my course going to sell well enough to justify the cost of that traffic? And so that's where we have to think about, well, how much are you charging? So if you're only charging $300, $500 or less for your program, depending on your niche, it may or may not be worth it to run paid ads. And so now we have to look at, how do we increase the value of the program so that we can raise the price? And instead of charging hundreds of dollars, how do we bring it up to $1,000 or $1,500 or even more? And there's things that you can add to basically anything that you do in order to, charge as much as 10 times what you would normally think that you could charge. We have clients that came in that, they were charging Julie, who's a fitness coach. She was only charging, I think, $2,000 or $3,000 for her program. One of the first things we did with her is to have her raise her price to $5,000. In addition to helping her with her ads and her traffic, we got her ads cost down from $23 per lead down to less than $1 per lead. And with those two things combined, she actually doubled her revenue within the first 30 days of us working with her. But a lot of that has to do with, number one, bringing down the ad costs, and number two, raising the price so that your profit margin per client is high enough that it makes sense to do that.
And back to your original question of a course versus coaching program, because I kind of related, but not quite answered. The lower the price is typically standalone courses. You're adding access to you in some level, moving it more towards coaching as you increase that price point. So general speaking, there's a lot of variables put in that are a factor, but typically $997 or less would be like a standalone course that they log in on their own. They don't have access to you. They just have access to the information. And then above that, you're maybe offering live Q&A sessions as a group, or group coaching sessions. And then that can scale that up towards just, one-on-one sessions as well. And the price point obviously growing with the level of access that you're giving them. So, having the core of a structure is great for a program, but when you're getting into a higher price point, that's typically where you give them more access. So that's that helps, when you're looking at price point, we're looking at traffic sources and where you want this to be, and then forming a program that fits based on that.
Yeah. And the thing is that access does two things, right, in the mind of your customer. Number one, it increases certainty that they will actually achieve a result, and it increases convenience, right? It makes things faster, cheaper, and easier, right? For example, if you were to play the lottery, right, your chance of winning $1 million might be 1 in a billion, right? You buy a lottery ticket, you have 1 in a billion chance to win $1 million. So the result that we're promising is $1 million jackpot. That's a huge result, right? Normally people would be willing to pay a lot of money to learn how to make $1 million. But if your level of certainty is only 1 in a billion, well, now you're only willing to pay $1 or $2 for that lottery ticket. But what if we increase that level of certainty to 1 in 10? Right? You have a 1 in 10 chance to win $1 million, right? Now, how much do you think you're going to sell that lottery ticket for? Well, now we're talking, instead of $1 or $2, we're talking thousands of dollars. In fact, people be throwing money at you left and right in order to get a lottery ticket. So that's what raising that level of certainty does. So you look at someone like Warren Buffett, right? Here's like a real life example. There's a ton of books on Warren Buffett's strategy for investing and making money with stocks and in the stock market. Basically, you can learn his entire methodology through those books, and those books sell for $5, $10 each or whatever on Amazon. Would you think that your level of certainty for making money in the stock market is higher or lower if you were to actually have Warren Buffett sit right next to you and show you exactly what to do when you're trading stocks versus reading one of his books? It's going to be a lot higher. And you would expect to pay a lot more for that to get that level of access, even though he's not going to tell you anything different than what's in his books. But he's going to teach you the same thing, but he's also going to teach you how to apply that in a way that's actually going to help you. And so that's what adding that level of access to you is going to do to your program, whether that's a support group on Facebook that only your clients get, whether it's Q&A calls where people can join a group call or a webinar or something and ask questions and get answers, or group coaching, where there's a little bit higher level, where you're actually sharing screens and you're unmuting and you're talking back and forth and you're looking at their actual stuff. Or whether that's smaller group masterminds. There's all sorts of ways that you can add those higher levels of access that people are going to be willing to pay a lot more money to. And then the other thing that can add a lot of value to your program that allows you to raise the price is the convenience. And the analogy that we often use with this is, think about buying an airplane ticket, right? The result is the same. You get from point A to point B in the same amount of time. You can pay for, a couple $100 for an economy ticket, or you can pay a few $1,000s and get a first class seat, right? And the first class seat, there's no higher level of certainty that you're going to reach your destination, right? But the level of convenience is much higher. You get to board the plane first. You get to exit the plane first. You get a lot more leg room. You get a wider seat. You get a seat that reclines a lot further. You get a blanket and a pillow, and you get a meal and drinks and faster service, right? And people are willing to pay a premium price for that level of convenience. And the same thing with whatever course or coaching program you put in. If you can add that level of convenience, help them to do things faster, cheaper, or with less effort, then that's something people are willing to pay a premium price for. And all these things, like, it seems like we're throwing a lot at you, but that's what we help.
Great, I love it. I love it.
Is to increase that level of certainty so that people are willing to pay higher prices, and that level of convenience, and do it in a way that leverages your time, so that you're not sacrificing your time in order to make more money. We're not just trading time for money. We're doing it in a very leveraged way, where you can only spend a couple hours a week with your clients, but still charge those premium prices, and then still bring in 5 times return on your ad spend, 10 times return on your ad spend, sometimes even better.
Yeah, absolutely. And that completely makes sense of, when you're working with someone on a coaching basis, it's kind of like a guided tour to success. Like, the coach generally will guide you over the finish line, versus with a course, it's kind of like a do-it-yourself, figure it out yourself, good luck. And I've very much seen the same thing. People don't struggle with wrapping their head around the strategy. They struggle with implementing it. It's the implementation that's always the hard part, right?
Absolutely.
So for those of you watching, I hope that, I think the light bulbs are probably going off. You're probably having all kinds of creative ideas. But what I love that you guys mentioned earlier is, for 99% of people who aren't massive influencers, right? Traffic is key. And so, for the people watching who, they have a course that they're building, it's somewhere between $300 and $500, and they are not an influencer. Where would you have those people start? What strategy would you have them start with in terms of generating traffic?
It would still be paid ads. Well, things like, there are ways to to hustle and get organic traffic and customers. The problem with it, and basically what the strategy is you're joining Facebook groups, you're networking in those groups, right? You're getting people on your friends list, you're starting messenger conversations, and through those conversations, you're getting sales calls and clients, or you're referring them to your webinar for a low-level course, and they purchase after watching the webinar. That strategy works, but it's a ton of hustle.
Yeah. It's a ton of work. It's a ton of hustle for tiny drips of traffic.
Yeah.
Depending on your niche. Like, if you're in the business niche, yeah, it's very saturated. If you're in other niches, maybe not so much. A lot of it has to do with the execution. A lot of people do this in a very spammy way, and it produces very little results.
Yep.
Other people who are smarter about this and know how to actually nurture those relationships, they can get really big results when they know how to do it right, right? But the thing is, it's still all that manual work of joining these groups, networking with people, finding the right prospects, having those messenger conversations, and then knowing how to turn that conversation into a qualified sales call and then a client.
Well, and that's something that, if you get sick or there's things going on in life and you can't put in that amount of time, your business will just tank. It just goes on hold or is done until you can get back to the hustle. So, it's not our favorite strategy.
Yeah. But
that's why you recommend ads for people in that price range, the $300 to $500 course, or even up to $900 something. It sounds like less than $1,000.
Well, yeah. So that's the way we built when we were first starting out with affiliate marketing, that's how we made our first sales. That's largely how we got to our first, 5 figures and maybe most of the way to our first 6 figures, was just doing that type of networking. And so it works. I mean, we know it works. But the thing is, for a low level course, the amount of work that you have to put in order to make a $100 sale or a $300 sale or even a $500 sale, it's so much that, at the end of the month, you may make a few $1,000s, but you had to work like 60 hours a week to do that, right?
Yeah.
Versus
so you're saying the times that you're putting in the manual hustle and doing the manual work makes more sense to do it for a higher ticket.
Exactly. And so usually the first, if you cannot afford, or if you don't have a budget for paid ads and you've got a low level course, the first thing we do is we'd say, okay, you either need to make a budget for paid ads or we need to raise the price and make this organic thing worth it. Because if your price point is say $2,000 or $3,000, well, now you just need 3 or 4 clients per month and you've got a 6-figure business.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not hard to do with some hustle and some organic marketing. Now, you can go a few months doing that, making, $9,000, $12,000 a month. And you're going to start thinking to yourself, okay, I'm making some good money, but I'm hustling like crazy for this. I don't think I can keep doing this. And
I personally hate the hustle culture. I don't want to hustle. I want to have time freedom, right? I want to love my business, and hustling 24/7 just does not sound fun to me. I don't know if anyone else watching feeling that way, yeah.
And that's the thing. After a few months, no matter, even if you're bringing in $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 a month, there's people that can do that with the organic, or quote unquote organic marketing. Even after 2 or 3 months, you're going to say, okay, I've made a bunch of money with this. Don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's a point where you have the funds now to actually start with paid ads. And that's what we want to do, is do the organic just long enough until, hey, now let's do paid ads, because now you've got the funds for it. Now we can leverage your time a lot better. And we can start bringing in those sales calls on automation, where you're spending all of your time with qualified people that actually want to talk to you, versus spending all your time doing the upfront stuff and filtering out your clients and doing all the hustle yourself.
Absolutely. And knowing you guys and how you work, I know if you're having someone run ads to an offer, a freebie, a lead magnet, whatever it may be, it's connected to a system on the back end that's streamlining a lot of that process.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing, for you to reach 1,000 people with, quote unquote, organic marketing, it's going to take you dozens of hours to build your, if weeks probably, to build that up in a friends list or people that you're networking with on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you're doing it, right? Versus I could just pay Facebook $10 or $20 and reach 1,000 people within a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
Right. That's the time difference we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but exactly what you're saying though, is that having the systems in place is critical, because we've run into people who've they created a program, whether it's coaching or course, and they put up a sales page or a checkout page, truly. And now they had a friend that knew how to do Facebook ads or whatever, and they started driving traffic to it. And I'm like, you're just driving traffic to a checkout page? It's like, yeah. Well, I haven't made any sales yet, but we're trying, and we're spending like $150 a day. And I'm like, just stop, just stop for a moment.
We
like,
literally just,
at that point, you're just flushing money down the toilet.
Yes. Like, I was like, what you're doing now, I would be shocked if you ever made a sale. Like, please stop wasting your money. Like, we need some systems in place to take that person from that initial outreach of the ad through warming them up to getting them introduced to your offer and closing the sale. Like, that is not happening on a checkout page.
Yeah. You can't treat an online course or a coaching program the same way that you would treat a product on the shelf at Walmart.
Right.
Where you have, if you're looking for pots and pans, you have a bunch of them in front of you. And if it's on the shelf, it's going to make a sale. Some sell better than others, but there's different price points, different quality. I mean, people, it's not like that.
And there's a reason that people don't list, their coaching program or their online courses on Amazon, because it's a totally different selling mechanism, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. When people are thinking about investing money in a course or coaching program, there's a few really important things you need to be able to do in order for someone to actually come to that buying decision. If you find that you're getting the "I need to think about it" objection a lot, or I don't know, let me check out your website, give me some more information or materials, it's because you haven't answered these questions. Okay. Number one is, what is the result that someone's going to achieve at the end of your program? Okay. Not what information are they going to receive, but what does their life look like at the end of that? What is the actual result? So for example, if you are doing nutrition or health and wellness, and your program is how to go on a plant-based diet, well, how to go on a plant-based diet is not a result. That's the information that they're going to get. And if all you're offering is information, then you're never going to make a sale, because people can get information for free on YouTube, on Google, and it's all over the place. But what you need to think about is, what is that plant-based diet going to do for you? What is the end result? And depending on who you're targeting, it could be different. If you're targeting people who have diabetes, it could mean losing weight, improving your triglycerides, and improving your lab work, and getting off your meds, and actually reversing, for type 2 diabetes, obviously, right? Reversing the diabetes. That's the result. The method or the mechanism that we help them to achieve that result is a plant-based diet. But what we need to market to is that end result, okay? Because that's what people will pay money for. You can Google how to lose weight, right? How to lose weight is another result that you can market to. We definitely need to put a little spin on it, but if you do a Google search for how to lose weight, or a YouTube search, you're going to come up with millions, if not billions, of search results. Yet we still have an obesity epidemic, not just in America, but in the entire world. So even though there's all this information about how to lose weight, people still struggle in the execution, right? And so when we can market a program that helps them to achieve that result, that's what people are willing to pay money for, because they know that they lack the execution. So that's the first thing, is the result. The second thing, people want the result, but they're still questioning why your program. So we need to answer the questions: how is your program different than the competitors out there? And how is it better, right? How is it different and better? And this is more of a marketing tactic rather than just an actual change in how you deliver your program, right? A good example of this, I forget the name of the beer company. Many years ago, there was a beer company that hired a consultant. I heard the story from Todd Brown, who's a great, amazing copywriter. If you don't follow him, you should follow him, Todd Brown. But he tells a story about this marketing company, or this beer company, who had hired a marketing consultant to help them with their ad campaigns. And so while this consultant was taking the tour through their factory, he noticed a part of the process where they were like shooting steam or something into the bottles before they put the beer into them. And so he asked him, well, what's going on over there? Why are you doing that to the bottles? And the guy who was giving the tour said, well, that's just the sterilization process. We sterilize the bottles before we put the beer in it, so it keeps the beer fresh for longer. And the marketing consultant was like, okay, that's it. That's our angle. That's how we're going to say that we have the freshest beer, and that that it tastes better than everybody else, because we sterilize our bottles. And the guy that was giving him the tour was like, well, I don't think that's going to work, because everybody does that. All the beer companies sterilize their bottles first. And the marketing consultant was like, well, that may very well be so, but nobody else is talking about it, right? So that's an angle that we can use. And so anytime, like, I just saw another an ad campaign for a fitness program for men to help you bulk up, get bigger. And I forget, they called it the volume density training or something. And when I looked at it, like, okay, that sounds new, right? I haven't heard about that before. And they had before and after pictures and all that. But I know 100% if I go into that and I look at what are they doing, it's probably something that's already been done before. They just put their little own spin on it. And now they call it volume density training or whatever it was. And now it's their own thing. The importance of being able to do that is that you want your ideal clients, when they go through your sales video, you want them to think that you're doing something that they can't get anywhere else. Because once they think that they can get it anywhere else, especially if they can just Google it or YouTube it, they're going to do that, right?
I love that. That makes so much sense. First things first, promise them an actual transformation, some sort of result, and then show them that you're really the only one who can help them get that particular result, because your unique method is so different, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And that's a little bit of an art in itself. Sometimes it takes a little testing, but that's one of the things that we really work with our clients to do. A lot of people, when they come in, they think, oh, I just need the right strategy, right? I just need more traffic, or I need this. And really it's, let's look at some of the first stuff first, because driving more traffic to a product that's not selling is not going to make it sell, right? We need to make sure that we're positioning it right and that we're marketing it the right way, so that not only do people think that you're the only one that they can get this result from, but that it's at a price point that makes sense to run paid ads and all this other stuff that we just kind of talked about. But those are the really important points, is that we need to make it something. That's how we know when something's really going to convert well, is when we can do that and make it something that they can't get anywhere else. It's a premium offer. We have the certainty. We have the result that we're promising. There's a high level of convenience. And now we've got a premium offer that's converting at a high rate that we can run ads to. That you put $1 in ads and you're getting $5 or $10 back out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we can scale that. Once we have that, well, now we can scale that easily to $20,000, $30,000 a month, $50,000. And when we put some more systems in place, 100,000 plus.
Yeah, which totally makes sense, right? You have the right strategy out of the gates, the offer, the marketing, right? How it all comes together strategically is there. And then you set up systems around it to funnel all that traffic into places where it's actually going to convert. And we can reduce that hustle culture in our businesses. We can have more freedom. I love that. Super helpful. And I love all the examples you're sharing, because I think it's getting everyone's like creative wheels are turning, which is great. So at this point, I'm sure the audience is dying to know what strategy might be better for their business. Like, how on earth can I get more clients, get more sales in my course, get more clients in my program? And I understand you have a free gift for the audience that can help them to do exactly that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so we have our client acquisition accelerator, and I'll let Todd talk about it.
Yeah, this is a PDF guide. I think it's about 15 pages long, and it kind of goes through a lot of the things that are going to make your offer sell. So not only do we talk about some of those foundational things about your messaging, but we also talk about, actually, we give you the script for one of our most successful ad campaigns. That this is a script that we've used to, like I said, help clients bring their ad costs down from $10, $20, $30 per lead down to $1 or $2 per lead, sometimes even less. So you're going to get that exact ad script that we talk about, that we teach to our clients, along with, how to decide what is the best vehicle for your message. So that's one of the other things that we didn't have a chance to talk about. But the vehicle for your message is the strategy, right? Is that a webinar? Is it an automated webinar? Is it a challenge? Is it a summit like this? Is it a Facebook group funnel? Is it, the strategy is the vehicle for your message. And depending on what you're doing, where your audience is, we need to choose the right vehicle for that message that's going to be able to reach your audience. So we talk about that a little bit in there as well. And that's something that you can get for free.
Yeah. Just for attending, you can grab that free gift. So be sure to grab that. It'll be in a button, I think somewhere below or just off to the side. It'll be nearby. Click the button. Now, I know for the VIP ticket holders, do you have a little something extra special for them? Do you want to tell us about that too?
Yeah. So we talked about a little bit earlier, doing things quote unquote organically, right? Where you're doing the hustle and you're generating your leads with networking and generating sales calls from those. So we've actually got a full course that shows you exactly how to do that. Like I said, we made our first, most of the way to our first 6 figures doing that in our business. Mm-hmm. And especially if you're in a point now where, you don't think paid ads are in your budget, or you just want to be able to get a head start and be able to add more to your ads budget, this is a great way to do it. So we've got a whole course that takes you A through Z exactly how to do this. And
it's important because otherwise, there's some people that are trying this and are failing at it utterly. So this is really good because if you're going to spend the time to do this, you want to make sure it actually produces something. So you want this.
Exactly.
The last thing you want to do is hustle and have nothing to show for it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of the people that are doing this, like I said, they're doing it very spammy ways, and they're getting blocked. They're getting activity restricted on Facebook, right? Facebook actually restricts you from joining more groups or restricts you from sending friend requests and things like that. That happens when you're doing things in a very spammy way. And so if you're doing this already and you're running into those problems, this course is going to help you out. Plus, one of the bonus videos that you're going to get in this is how to actually take this and then outsource it, right? And outsource it the right way so that you can hire other people to do this for you in your business. And it still produces a very good ROI. And actually, in a lot of cases, it's cheaper than running paid ads up to a certain extent. There's obviously limits on how far we can scale this. But as far as getting a high ticket offer to $20,000 or $30,000 a month, yeah, outsourcing it, definitely a viable option. So we talked about how to outsource this work as well, so that it's not you doing all the hustle, you're paying someone else to hustle for you, and it's producing good ROIs in your business.
Oh, I love that. That's so valuable. I mean, if you have a high ticket offer and you're recognizing that, yeah, you want to be prospecting a little bit, hopping on the phone with people, if you have a systematized way to do it that actually converts, now you're in the money. And like you said, that's how people often scale to 20 or 30,000 a month with their higher ticket offers. So what a generous contribution to the VIP ticket, you guys. Thank you so much for that. So remember guys, for those of you watching, there's a free gift from Todd and Leah. You should definitely scoop it up.
You've been listening to the Impactful Entrepreneurs Show with Adrienne Hill, where we support coaches, course creators, and network and affiliate marketers to translate their big picture vision into actionable plans to build out their business efficiently. If you love our show, we invite you to visit buildalifebydesign.com to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover more helpful resources. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, and share. Thank you for listening.